It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio today. We're sitting down with Sedona Fire Chief Jon Trautwein. Welcome to studio. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
SedonaFire.org is the website. All the information you can find right there, SedonaFire.org. I wanted the chief to come in today because on any given weekend, especially in the spring and the summer and the fall, not so much in the winter too much, but there's so many times I'll be sitting there flipping through my phone on Twitter, and there's, Sedona Fire is on 3 separate calls right now for a rescue at Bell Rock, for a rescue at Cathedral Rock, for a rescue up at Bear Mountain and Oak Creek Canyon. There's a hiker that was or there was a person playing at Slide Rock State Park, boom, fell and hit their head. I think I've seen that 2 or 3 times in a day.
Sure, yeah.
Even, where your crews are responding to Slide Rock State Park specifically. So I wanted you to come in today and kind of give us an idea as to what kind of cost it takes to deal with some of these situations. So rescues are up. I was telling the chief just before the show, back when I first started here, a rescue was a big story for us. Homicides were big stories because they just didn't happen very often, including the rescues. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go hiking and I'd see anybody on Devil's Bridge Trail or Bell Rock. I'd never see anybody all day. That is not the case anymore. You live in a giant red rock playground.
Yes.
And your crews have got to be absolutely unbelievably busy every single day of the week. I was telling him before the show, I said, I feel like fires is this little tiny thing down here. You got your rescues, which is in the middle now, and then you got your EMS calls, which is probably the brunt of the calls as well. But I wanted to have you talk a little bit about just what it's like for you. You've been here, what, 2 years now?
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5 years.
Moving along.
Have you seen anything like this before, where crews are constantly going out to rescue the public?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's various communities across the country that we would consider, where a lot of travelers come through. Like, for example, I mean, the numbers I see, I don't know the numbers you see, that the amount of travelers coming through our Sedona area is in excess of 3 million a year.
It's amazing.
Which is pretty significant.
It is.
And then you take Sedona Fire District's coverage area, response area, it's about 274 square miles, maybe roughly 21,000 residents there. So we do get those travelers that come in, and they might not be as versed with hiking or as prepared, because some of those trails are very challenging. And, there's a certain amount of physical fitness you would need as an individual, and you have to know your limitations. I think sometimes people exceed their limitations.
That's a very good statement right there. Know your limitations.
Yeah. And in terms of frequency too, when we our trail rescues annually, I just looked at the number for 2020. We responded to about 150.
Okay.
And then 2021 was about 180 plus. So those are probably atypical years, Of course, I think you hit the nail on the head when the weather's nice, springtime, summer, the temperatures start to elevate a bit. Then we see a lot more travelers, and then you see a lot more people on the trails.
A whole bunch.
Yeah. And that's the amazing thing to me about this area is there's unlimited hiking and unlimited trails. And
sure.
You could go on a very novice trail or something that's, moderate, or you can go on an extreme hike too, where people get up and rappel down into canyons, like real mountaineering people. So it's all there. When I first got here, I got up in an aircraft and looked around the valley, and wow, I couldn't believe the amount of trails from the air. Mm-hmm. From the ground, you don't see it as much, but it's definitely a critical part of our mission.
What part of your budget, your yearly budget, goes towards rescues in the Sedona Fire? It's probably important to, you mentioned 274 square miles, so yeah. It's not a Sedona Fire Department, you're a district, so you are not only, you're Sedona.
Correct.
How far up Oak Creek Canyon? Pump House Wash, does that
we go all the way up to the switchbacks, up to the top.
Top of the switchbacks, yeah. Okay, and then out to I-17 on 179, Village of Oak Creek is yours.
Yep.
You come south out of the village, out of Sedona to past the wastewater treatment plant?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, out to Page Springs and out there in the Red Rock Loop. That's all us.
I think that paints a better picture, so people that maybe are new to Sedona or new to the area don't even think about that. That Sedona is not just the city of Sedona, uptown Sedona. It is that big of an area. What is the cost? Can you give us that for the rescues?
Yeah, and you know, we don't typically extract what per rescue the cost would be. I mean, get an idea of our budget for, we have 99 positions, let's say, between admin and our operations. So we almost have 100 employees.
That's large.
It's pretty large.
Yeah, for the area.
And their budget's sitting at around $19.6 million right now. So, training a firefighter and equipping a firefighter with the appropriate apparatus and equipment for rescue. We're also doing that for wildland fire, for structure fire, for EMS. We talked about that. That's a huge component of what we do. That's the vast majority of our calls are EMS. So there's a lot of qualifications and training that goes through with our EMTs and our paramedics. So we don't really do a per cost. Now, there's another component of this trail rescue too, that it's more specialized. We do have what's called a technical rescue team. So in our 5 stations daily, we have 3 different shifts, A, B, C. So one of those shifts will be on daily. And there's a minimum of 23 firefighters on daily. Between those, there has to be 6 qualified technical rescue team members on each shift.
Okay.
So our technical rescue team's comprised of about 18 members. They get specialized rope training, specialized swift water rescue training, which is another part of our mission.
Sure.
With the canyon and with the way the washes fill after a heavy rain. So we do get quite a bit of swift water rescue. That can be very dangerous too.
Mm-hmm.
So that team, of those 6 per shift, of the 18-member team, then we have a minimum of 2 per shift that are helicopter trained also. So one of the resources we use for some of these rescues, depending upon how complex it is Department of Public Safety.
DPS Ranger helicopter.
Yes, they'll respond their helicopters, and we do what's called a short haul.
Right.
Where our firefighter with the packaged patient will basically hang on a rope under the helicopter. We can extract you off the trail and out of the canyon, then drop you to a landing zone where we'll have our rescue ambulance there, and our ambulance then can take the patient to the hospital. So that, again, so all our firefighters are equipped for trail rescue, and then we also have some specially trained firefighters when it becomes more than carrying you off a trail. It could be rope rescue, it could be helicopter rescue. So those are the challenging ones. Those are the ones where we have to be very, very careful and have good planning, because they can be dangerous.
Well, that's just it. They take a long time to conduct. Mm-hmm. You're putting emergency personnel in danger. So if I'm out there and I do something crazy and I fall off a cliff and I'm laying down there and you guys have to come out and do that rope rescue thing, say you got to pull me up. I know this has happened. You pull me up to where I can be, okay? And I've even known where you guys have had to stay the night with people out there because they are so severely injured that it's too late to get DPS Ranger helicopter in there. So now you pull me up out of there. DPS Ranger helicopter has to come in and then stoke me, or do a short haul with me someplace else, land, put me down. I got to get in the ambulance. What does it cost to have DPS Ranger helicopter, just DPS Ranger helicopter? You'd be in 30 seconds to have them respond to something like this? What's it cost?
Yeah. Well, and so DPS does not charge the Sedona Fire District for that use. It's a partnership we developed with them over time.
Okay.
Obviously, we're going into state and forest areas and doing these rescues too.
Okay.
So we've developed these partnerships, so there's reciprocation.
I did not know that.
No, and so now what you highlighted though is when we look at how we operate, like if you looked at our wildland deployments, aircraft are the most expensive component that we could deploy.
No, for sure.
So you're correct. Now I don't know if if it's a medical helicopter, which we use frequently, obviously they're going to bill the patient for that transport. I don't have that information. Guardian's a big company that we use frequently on some of these rescues for that transport if it's a traumatic patient. Same thing, DPS. I don't know what their policy is and whether they would bill the patient. They certainly don't bill us because we've developed that partnership, and we train with them every year. Our helicopter rescue technicians train and have to train because there's so many safety parameters that we have to follow. So if we don't train, then we're going to be lax on that. So we make sure we train. So I would say if we do a rescue and we use a DPS airship, the DPS airship's the most expensive component of it,
right?
For sure.
I heard it was $1,500 an hour, so I was kind of hoping you maybe could confirm.
Yeah, a small airship sometimes, like a Type 3 or Type 2 airship. Yeah, that's probably somewhere in there. But again, depending upon what helicopter it is, if it's a National Guard Black Hawk, the operating cost is much higher. So they're expensive. And they're great machines, but I'll tell you what, you have to know what you're doing around them too. Those pilots are exceptional. And then our crews that work in and around those, there's safety parameters that we strictly follow so we don't have an accident.
I remember several years back, we had to take our break, but there was a DPS trooper paramedic that was hit by a blade, rescuing 2 people in the Sedona area, so that is definitely a thing. Sedona Fire Chief Jon Trautwein with us today. SedonaFire.org is the website, SedonaFire.org. Stick around, countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Need a ride to work in Sedona? Hop on the new Verde Shuttle at the Cottonwood Library and ride to all the major employers in Sedona for just $2. It's just that easy. Looking to get back to work? Sedona has jobs and the Verde Shuttle gets you there every 45 minutes. It's just that easy. Working late? The Verde Shuttle runs until 10:30 and offers a free after-hours shuttle in Cottonwood. It's just that easy. Check out verdeshuttle.com for details or ask Google Maps for transit directions. It's just that easy.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Terrifying job. Snake handler, take 1.
James, this is a really terrifying job.
Given the hazards, why do you do it?
I've been fascinated by reptiles since I was a child.
Tell me about your little friend there.
So this is Bear Hug. He's a Burmese python. We have him here at the Phoenix Zoo.
It kind of makes my skin crawl. Is there anything that rattles you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Welcome back to Countywide. Sedona Fire Chief Jon Trautwein in studio with us today. SedonaFire.org is their website. Curious, when it comes to the rescues, is it mostly locals or is it visitors? I want to think our locals are probably not out there. Oh, God, I hope not. After 30 years of telling them to be careful out there. But it's a lot of the tourists that are being rescued.
Yeah, I would say the majority are definitely travelers coming into town. And again, some of the scenarios are maybe you're down in the southern part of Arizona, on your vacation, and you go, hey, you know what? It's such a beautiful day today. Why don't we drive the couple hours up into Sedona, go for a nice hike, have a nice lunch, go to the shops, and then we'll head back down to Phoenix, and finish our vacation, go to the next state. So that's not atypical. It's somebody from out of town who may not be as familiar with the trails and how you should prepare yourself.
Okay, all right. I kind of figured that as much. Yeah. I got this question for you too. Now, Arizona's got a stupid motorist law. Okay, where if you drive into a flooded wash and you have to be rescued, and let's say you drove around barricades even to get into that wash, and now you're standing on the hood of your truck, and you're like, help me, help me, help me, save me. And how many people are typically on a swiftwater rescue team? 6, 8?
Yeah, I mean,
Incredibly
depending upon what
dangerous?
kind of rescue, but you do want at least 4 to 6 qualified swiftwater people when you're doing the rescue.
Okay, we don't really use that law very often. I think one time since we put that law into place in the state, I've actually seen a story, done a story about the fact that we actually charge somebody for the rescue.
Yeah.
So it's not used at all, so it kind of makes it, why even have it? But do you think a law like that, the stupid hikers law or something like that, where somebody goes off into the sunset with a little jar of water and they're doing a 5-mile hike, and now we've got firefighters, we got a helicopter out there at night. It's dangerous to be flying around at night. Maybe a short haul rescue has to be done. Maybe there's a little rope rescue involved too because they fell. Do you think maybe we should charge these people that, or not be charging people those rescues?
I think that's a great question. I think the time and energy that we spend, and we need to continue to spend on the public education component, is the critical thing here.
Okay.
Part of the challenge, if you're finding somebody because we have to go rescue you, what we don't want is the image too that don't call 911, because then you have a scenario where someone might really need to be rescued, need our help, but they're like, man, I don't want to be fined, so they try to figure it out on their own, or their situation becomes even more critical. In other words, they get themselves in a worse spot, and then by the time we're doing the rescue, it's like, wow, this is some pretty dangerous stuff. So
you are the second person that's given me that answer, that exact answer on that one.
Yeah, and as in the fire service, you call 911, I don't care what reason, and we are dispatched. We're there to improve what's going on, to help you. So we try to focus on the public education, and then on the response side, how do we mitigate that safely? Not just for our crews, but for the individual calls, right? So, and we never want anyone to be hesitant to, man, should I call 911? Well, yeah, you're having chest pain. Call 911. Or, yeah, you need to be rescued. And I don't think some of those people on the trail rescues, they do go prepared. Maybe they slip. Sure. And fracture their ankle. So it's not like they're being irresponsible. Right. Well, it's an accident.
Those wouldn't be the people that we'd be citing either.
Yeah.
It'd be literally the person I described as going out in flip-flops, shorts, and a T-shirt, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're setting off on a 6-mile hike, and you got this little tiny 5 ounces of water, and you think you're going to go do that and come back and be safe, and now you're stuck out there in the cold.
Yeah, no, and you definitely, those people, again, hydrating, having the proper shoe, knowing your limitation.
This is the education plan.
Exactly.
The education plan.
And just having what you need to go accomplish that hike successfully. Going out on a trail at the elevation we're at isn't the time to start, I'm going to get in physical condition, so I'm going to go hike Bear Mountain.
Exactly.
It's like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
You're going to start working out. You're going to start taking smaller hikes. You're going to hydrate. You're going to get the right shoes. You're going to have the right jacket if you need a jacket, all that. Your cell phone's going to be charged. A lot of those trails, there's a lot of areas where we do get connectivity. And if you don't, you got to get to a spot where you can get it, so you can call, and our alarm can coordinate and get the coordinates of that location, and we plot it, and we'll go right for that location. So we're not going to arbitrarily just hike down a trail looking for somebody. We really try to get the coordinates pretty accurate. Then we can kind of look and go, wow, we don't have to start at the trailhead. We can access from over here and have a straight shot to where they're at.
Sure.
So there's a lot of thought we put into that, because, again, you brought it up. Okay, we have a busy weekend, say Labor Day weekend. For us, having 3 trail rescues at the same time wouldn't be atypical, and we do staff up on those busy weekends. So we don't want our firefighters to have to work 3 trail rescues and be exhausted at the end of the day. So they think, and they're super efficient, and we give them really good apparatus and equipment for the access. The UTVs, the rescue baskets we use, they're titanium, they fold down, they're very lightweight, they're very efficient. There's a wheel we attach to them, so we can use that with handles, and 2 firefighters can roll a patient as opposed to 4 or 6 carrying them the whole way. Mm-hmm. So we try to be thoughtful with that kind of equipment. in our training so that we can be as efficient as possible. And then you can take a firefighter and they can run 2 or 3 rescues in a day and go, I feel like I'm pretty good, you know. And they have to be in physical condition too, and they are.
Right.
Yeah. All
right, let's take our second break. Sedona Fire Chief Jon Trautwein in studio with me today talking about rescues in Sedona area. SedonaFire.org is their website, countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Looking for a ride to Sedona? Hop on the new Verde Shuttle at the Cottonwood Library and go everywhere you want to go in West Sedona, uptown, and south to Poco Diablo Resort. It's just that easy. Looking for a better way to commute between Cottonwood and Sedona? The Verde Shuttle buses are brand new. A cool, clean, comfortable ride for only $2 each way or $3 for an all-day pass. It's just that easy. Check out details at verdeshuttle.com or ask Google Maps for transit directions. It's just that easy.
Do you remember our first group photo? This is it. Smiles all around, even though we were all nervous.
Who could have imagined that our first weekend together would soon turn into a lifetime of memories?
You're an amazing young man. Your brothers and sisters really look up to you. They're a big brother.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
I ain't never felt so much love before in my life.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Welcome back to Countywide. Just a couple of minutes left of the program. Chief, another question for you. The Chapel Fire Station was put in because there were some delays in response times just because Highway 179 has become such a busy roadway. Yeah. Has that been paying off for the city?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when you look at the location of Station 6 there and Station 3, which is down in the village of Oak Creek, and then Station 4, which is in Uptown, those two stations are what needed to respond in that Chapel area. So having that station in between them, it does fill that gap. It lowers their response time in that area. And then if Station 4 or 3 are committed to an incident, then you have them centrally located. They can go down to 3 or they can go up to 4. So, you know, conceptually in the fire service, what we try to do with fire stations and resources is kind of spread them out in your response area, so that, because that's the thing we don't know, where's the call going to be?
Right.
You know, we could put everything in one area thinking, oh, we'll get the majority of our calls, but then the call could be in the far extreme other side. So
sure.
I think that was very strategic. You know, I know data was pulled to look at response, and I think it's definitely paying off. You
awesome.
know, and you know, if you move a station or you need to add one, that's the thing. You look at the response times, you look at all the data, you look at the call volume, and then you can determine, okay, where's the best location? So no, I think it's definitely paid off.
Okay, I'll ask you the wildfire question next time I have you come back. Okay,
sure.
We'll ask you that one. In Oak Creek Canyon, you have a station too, right there near Indian
yes.
Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
That one is still staffed, and that one probably responds up and down into the canyon all the time.
Yes.
You've got 30 seconds. How busy
yep.
is that one usually at this time of year? Probably not so much, but
yeah.
later in the year.
Station 5
mm-hmm.
gets very busy when the canyon fills up,
mm-hmm.
like Slide Rock State Park and the various campgrounds on the busy weekends. But it is out of the 5 firehouses in our our area, it's the slowest one, although it gets some pretty critical calls. Rollovers on the highway, falls up in Slide Rock. So, and we have that staff with 3 firefighters 24/7. So when that canyon gets busy too, to get secondary units in there takes a little time. So we want a functional crew in there that really knows what they're doing, and they do a great job.
Okay, all right. Well, education, we'll just keep educating. I'll keep having search and rescue come in. Coconino National Forest, I believe they've got a program they're starting up right now where they're going to have I think it's a trail host thing. I'm not sure about that yet, but it sounds like on some of the most difficult trails, they're going to have trail hosts, hopefully stationed, who will be able to interact with the public as they come up. So we'll keep following that. But Sedona Fire Chief Jon Trautwein, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Spending time with us today. I appreciate it. SedonaFire.org is that website. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.